my cousin's getting into working out. He's like, he's my second cousin. So he's like 18, I think, and 19. And just the questions, man. Like, it's not annoying. It's just like you learn, you ask the same questions at the start of your lifting career, no matter what generation you're in.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just jump on the app and, get in there and pursue this and see if you like it.
Mm-hmm. Ask
Ask me more questions if you get serious.
Yeah.
And we can think about, kind of making it a little bit more personal for you.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, so how you going with it, man? And he's like, yeah, I've been doing some of the workouts. I'm like, some of the workouts? What's that mean? And he's like, oh, I've just been mixing it up. And I said, don't do that. I'm like, don't mix it up. I said, just follow the workouts. So those workouts are really well thought out, Yeah. He's doing the push-pull leg, upper, lower, or upper, whatever. And he goes, oh, this guy from the gym told me that I need to mix it up and shock the muscle. I said, that guy's an idiot. I said, don't listen to that shit.
That guy's an idiot.
Yeah. So I didn't have the time to explain. I'm like, look, buddy. I was like, you only listen to me. All right, nobody else. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, that guy, he did look like he was, on a fair bit of gear. I was like, I said, look, it doesn't always mean that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I said, I'm going to go and say that like this particular person at, wherever it is, Anytime Fitness, talking to a 19-year-old, probably doesn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. I'd say you got to mix it up to shock the muscle.
Yeah. I'm going to help this young fella.
Yeah. Take him under my wing, Tell him you got to shock the fucking muscle.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, so he and then like I had to try and get a bit of buy into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you need to do the exact opposite.
Yeah. Because
I said change is actually like not really what you want to do. And I'm like, giving him the spiel. I'm like, you understand? He's like, yeah. And then the other day, he messages me out of nowhere. He's like, oh, what's the best, like high reps or low reps?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, has someone told you that low reps shape muscles and low reps build muscle and high reps shape muscles? And he's like, oh no, I'm just curious. And I said, because those guys are fucking stupid too. Just like going for the jugular.
We just hate everybody.
Just going for the jugular as soon as he asks me a question. Yeah, I'm like, all right, Jace, you got to fucking calm down, bro.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, have you been doing the workouts? He goes, nah, man, I've been following them like flat out.
No fucking changes.
So I'm just going to check with him every fortnight and be like, you following those workouts? I can see you, bro.
Yeah. I could see in the app.
Yeah. But it's just funny how it's like, 2023 with the internet.
Yeah.
It's still the same.
Yeah.
It's a very refreshing perspective for us.
Yeah.
Because we don't really work with beginners anymore. So, which makes you think like, for some, to get them to where we want to work with them, like you've still got to have, a little bit of stuff. Like to talk about those things that like we think are just like, no, we're past that now. It's like normal. Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's almost like rite of passage into bodybuilding now.
I can't remember what, I think I trained over Easter. Must have been, it wasn't Easter Saturday, I was away. Anyway, one of the days, and it was pumped. And because I normally train kind of like 7:30 because I'm better than everyone. It's like a young, everyone's like uni age. Yeah. There's a couple of like.
Is this PM, sorry, or
AM?
Yeah. Oh, you're way better than everyone.
Yeah. There's a couple of like people that look like they've done school drop off and came to the gym, but the quality of lifting is like exceptional.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
Yeah, it's good.
But I went in 10 o'clock on a weekend in the morning, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what Jason's talking about. It's like I still definitely seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of, yesterday how we were talking about like the tempo argument.
Yeah.
And I was like, when we hear tempo, we're like thinking people mean like 4-second negative pause, like these fucking long ass reps. And then you hear Mike and he's like, tempo is the most important thing. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then you go into the gym and see people train and just like throw weight
his
around.
Market.
And you're like, you do need
if you actually look at
tempo.
Yeah. And if you look at it critically, like as much as you look at Mike and Jared and you go, oh, they're advanced trainees, their market's beginners.
100%
into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tempo is
Yeah.
And as I showed in that lifespan of a trainee, it's like tempo is something you work with at the start a lot.
Yeah. Understanding that throwing the weight the first 2/3 of the rep is not actually doing the thing.
Yeah, well, it's not going to build a lot of muscle. It's like you're going to get a lot of reps out.
Yeah, and it's hard to like. There's a couple of guys now I think that have realized that guy knows what he's doing.
He knows stuff.
Yeah, it's like, he seems to always do the same thing and he does it quite well.
Yeah.
And I'm like actually because I broke myself in that 5x5 program, I kind of actually eased myself into a program for once.
Proud of you, bro.
I'm not broken.
Yeah.
Touch wood somewhere. Nothing hurts at the moment.
Proud of you, dude.
So now I'm actually conditioned enough to push. Work. So like probably the last, if it's in a machine, the last 2 sets. If it's not, it's like the last set is to failure. Pretty much everything except legs. Because that is still not conditioned.
Who wants to do that anyway?
Yeah, fuck that. I don't want bigger legs. So I think people are starting to be like, oh, so you move really well and you train hard and you look okay. Maybe you do. So there's a few people like starting to...
Are they following around doing your workouts?
Keeping an eye on me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't got to the stage I'm like, don't do that. To anyone yet.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I saw a few boys at the gym like throwing some shit around and I was like, oh, like it was really, I kept looking at them.
Yeah.
And then kept looking at me and I was like, fuck, do I go over there? And I was like, oh, just stop looking.
Yeah. You don't want to be the guy that says, shock the muscle.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give him some good advice. But isn't it funny though, if you gave good advice in some instances, like...
They tell you to fuck off.
Well, they don't know it's good advice. Yeah. So they want to hear the classic...
Yeah.
You know, like higher reps to shape the muscle. Yeah. You got to shock it. Yeah. You know? So if you say like the actual shit, they're like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like if
do the same thing for 20 weeks. What the fuck are you talking about?
Sometimes like they're like, this one dude talks to everyone. So he's like, if anyone asks a question, I'm in the gym. He's like, go see this guy. He knows everything. And then so they'll come up and then I'll answer the question. And because I didn't tell them what they wanted to hear, they're just the face. They're just like, oh, sweet. And I'm like, you didn't take a fucking single word that I just said because you wanted me to say, like, do 1 RMs if you're trying to build muscle or some shit.
Yeah. No, just up to 10 grams of creatine, you'll be fine.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I have a funny story. Just one more.
Go.
So I put my foot in it at the gym, as I always do. So just talking about...
we literally have a segment on this podcast. Like shit that happened to Jason in the gym.
Yeah. It's not that bad, but like I was just on the back end of like the lifting form. So I wanted to use this machine, and it's like new at the gym, so everyone wants to use it. Mm-hmm. And it obviously annoys me that everyone wants to use it because I want to use it. And I just have this thing where I'm like, well, I'm like, I know how to use this, you don't. So get out of the way. Anyway, so sometimes I have that battle. So we both walk up to the machine and like go to put a weight on like either side of the machine.
Oh, fuck.
And then I'm like, oh, are you using that? And he was like, oh, we can work in. I was like, sick. So he put one plate on and then I went to put another one on and he went to put a 10 on. And he's like, oh, are you putting another plate on? I said, oh, bro, don't worry. I said, you'll get 2 plates easy. This dude's arms were massive, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this guy will do it.
Yeah.
And then, like he got on and he could not do it. So, so he was like, heaving the weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chest, like, bouncing off the pad, like getting a little bit too much like hip extension going on, right? And then I'm like off getting more weight.
Yeah.
So then like I walk over and he's like, are you going to put more on? And I was like, and like, I don't know, just very blunt as you know. And I'm like, and I just went, yeah. Like, what do you mean?
Of course I am.
Yeah. So then I put more on and then I did a set and then we took him off.
Yeah.
And then he didn't want to back down from the 2 plates. And then after that, I put even more on. Bro, his face, man, it was fucking so funny. And like, I just couldn't stop thinking.
Who is this mutant?
I just couldn't stop thinking about like when I was just like, you'll get 2 plates easy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
except you won't.
Shut up, Jason. Shut up, bro. Why do you have to do that to yourself? So yeah.
Just let him go. And
fortunately
then you could
enough,
have coached him into more weight.
Well, yeah, it's true. Fortunately enough, I only had 2 sets. So I was like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
Oh no, like I did it. He wanted to go. So we would like, he was fucking, as soon as I got off and I'm like, I've got a 7-minute rest period, bro.
Yeah.
I said, you might be able to go again. Yeah. He's looking at me like, 7 minutes,
what are you doing?
Yeah. It's just like, what is this fucking guy doing? Yeah.
Now he just like trains for 4 hours because he's like, bro, that guy was so strong. And all he did was rest.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna take 10 minutes.
That's the secret.
That's how what I have to do to get strong.
But their mentality at that gym would still be like the old school, like short rest to get the pump.
Yeah.
And like to feel the metabolic stress in the muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'd be like, I'm getting a better workout, but I'm lifting less.
Harder.
Yeah, but I'm lifting less, which, as we spoke about yesterday, is
so that's where I was going to go. Is like, I think I obviously asked those questions for the people that were in the call, and everyone had gone by the time we answered them.
Yeah. It's all right. It's on the recording.
Yes. So one of the things that I was sort of paying attention to during the programming workout yesterday is obviously a lot of people listening maybe don't have the flexibility that we do in terms of
the time commitments
in terms of training. So I know for me, like I need door to doors like 90 minutes is my cap,
which is probably like an hour workout.
Yeah. So the things that I've put into my training to deal with that is I was doing 2 minutes and it was fucking just too hard. Just the training was shit. I was like, why am I so weak?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like he was saying, if the drop off in the set performance is so exponential from first set to last set, it's like you probably need a rest.
I was just like, no, I'll get fitter. That's like, no.
Yeah.
That's not how it
There's
works,
a certain
bro.
point where your cardiovascular system's not affecting your nervous system anymore.
Yeah, there's definitely a conditioning element, but that was not
your neuromuscular system.
And I think too, doing the bro splits, not full body, you can't get away with it the same way.
No, absolutely
So I could do 2 minutes if I did like pull-ups and then shoulder press. I could get through all of that.
Absolutely.
But four
once
or five pressing exercises.
Workout density goes up.
Yeah.
It is a different ballgame. And that's why that workshop was really targeted at, as optimal physique development as possible.
Yeah.
Because they're the environments that you need to create if that's the pursuit.
Correct.
And then you just strip back
work back from optimal, not the other way.
Don't assume that someone's not going to do something, so you just give them the shittest setup.
Agreed.
Like I feel like a lot of trainers they underestimate their clients.
Yeah.
And go, oh well, if you're just like, you said you want to look better, and you said you want bigger shoulders and stuff, but like you're only going to go to the gym 3 days a week, and you're not that committed. Like, it's like why don't you work from the top down?
Yeah.
And give them like.
Yeah, like this is
the best plan that you possibly could for them and see what happens.
And if you're a lifter, I think you should work the same way. It's like, what's best possible practice?
Yeah.
And then how close can I get to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then understanding that, like, I think for most people, doing 50% of best practice will probably still get them more results than what they're getting now.
Yeah.
For most people, like the people that are shocking the muscle and varied programs and goal hopping all the time and all that kind of stuff. It's like, if you just sit down and be like, hey, if you want to get this outcome, this is what we would do in a perfect situation. What are your drawbacks? It's like, okay, so time is one, so your workout's got to be shorter, so we've got a volume challenge, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, so we can do everything else.
Yeah.
So you're probably still going to make exceptional progress.
Absolutely.
Inside the realm of that.
Yeah, there's like the rate of progress is a window.
Agreed. Yeah.
So you're just sure, if like you're dedicating your whole life to, or majority of your effort and time to maximizing the highest end of the range of the rate of gain, that's going to take time, effort, etc. But if you can't, it just means that your rate of gain is probably not as much as you could, but it's still a rate of gain that you're getting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the trap is like, for people that do pursue that optimal kind of goal, is they get to a point sometimes where it's like, well, if I can't be perfect, there's no point.
There's no point. Yeah.
And it's like, well, there is a point.
Yeah.
Because you're going to make way more progress than the 3 weeks on, 6 weeks off that you're doing at the moment.
Yeah. Which you see a lot with the culture in our gym, or the gym I go to. It's like you see a lot of people like they just go hard for like 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then next time you speak to them, like, oh, I just had a week off. I'm like,
yeah.
How many fucking weeks off are you going to have? Like,
yeah.
There's 52 in a year. If you're having a week off every 5 weeks, like,
yeah,
taking months off training, bro.
It's a lot of break,
like,
yeah,
it's not a philosophy you want to have. You want to spend as much time in the gym as possible.
Yeah. So what we focused on yesterday was, so in absence of time restriction, do you accept a decline in performance over sets, or are you suggesting that if I don't perform to the same standard, that I haven't rested long enough?
I think as the workout goes on, you would accept it.
Yeah. So not in your first couple lifts, maybe.
Yeah, and even then, it would still be acceptable to a degree. I just don't know if, like, I don't think you would want to see like an exponential drop in rep performance from set 1 to set 3 if you have the time.
Yeah.
And especially at the start.
Yep.
Yeah. But then, well, the other consideration is the rep range as well. So the longer, the greater the rep range, the bigger the variance.
Yeah.
So I find sometimes when I'm doing like, those 10 to 15 sets, the rep ones, 10 to 15 reps, the first set I'll do 15, the second one I'll probably do like 15, but it's, way harder in terms of effort. And then I might do 13 and then I might get 11.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I was thinking like for my strength clients, I would probably demand similar for their prime lifts.
Yeah.
It's like there shouldn't be a decline in performance over 4 sets of 5s or 3s or whatever.
Yeah.
And you should be able to sustain it. But yeah, definitely do notice the drop off more with a higher rep range.
Yeah, and you're probably putting those higher rep ranges at the end too. So it's not just it's the higher rep range, it's the compounding
accumulation of fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think the other consideration is like proximity to failure on those opening sets.
Yeah.
I found I've chased like double progression a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's like put an extra 5 kilos on and then got an extra rep on the first set. And then it's like,
you did.
Oh,
you got to back that up now.
Oopsies.
Yeah.
You get to the fourth rep and it's like, fuck, my total volume, I probably could have just stayed at the same weight, chased a couple of extra reps.
Yeah.
So balancing that out.
Yeah, and that takes time.
Yeah.
It's a skill to learn how to balance that right.
Yeah, I think it's just important for a lifter to... It should be a litmus test, I think, that if you are training in those higher volume realms, that you are seeing some kind of disruption in terms of like your performance on your last set.
Yeah, absolutely.
So inside a set, your last rep shouldn't look the same as your first one, and then your last set shouldn't look the same as your first set.
Yeah. I think in a lot of cases, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Unless it's a skill exercise, like a squat or a deadlift or something like that. They should.
Yeah.
Don't fuck them up.